Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're gonna be watching high-speed chase underway involving an accident involving an accident in Houston. Police chase. So we got the audio. Let's listen now.
They say while California law prohibits them from commenting on specifics of juvenile dependency cases, Solano County does not discriminate on the basis of sexual orientation or any other protected class. Foster parents are selected based on
Breaking news. This is a police chase in Houston. We're making a police chase video reaction. He is taking the I-10 exit from US 59. Just about 5 to 10 minutes ago, they got a audio about the traffic stop. Took off the driver of that black Lexus. He took off from police. He took off in a traffic stop. It started in about 1:05 this morning. Not this morning. 1:05 this afternoon. It started 1:05 this afternoon in the traffic stop.
based on the evidence, the girl must go live with her birth mother. They cited evidence from Solano County
This is a Lexus. This is a Lexus GS350 or an import. And you're gonna need sporty sedans. Like this is a police chase pursuit. They can be doing Indy 500 laps this afternoon. This is going after it started a few minutes ago. So he's passing that big rig. He is passing that big rig truck.
By making this go out for 3 years, having us raise a child right away, knowing that it was our goal from the beginning to adopt a child and to be her forever family, to then ultimately rip her.
He is passing that big rig truck. About police chase.
And it feels like we've been punished every step of the way for that.
Ben and Louise say that they have been voiceless and powerless from the beginning. They say they would like to see changes to the law so that people like them in similar circumstances will be given the voice they say they were denied.
And turning back to our weather, the HD10 drone giving us a look from above, showing the beautiful scenes of Donner Pass at Donner Lake. The Sierra today, oh my goodness, the sunshine just really makes that snow glow. It has been so beautiful, and more is on the way, right, Monica?
And did you notice the difference? There was blue sky up in the Sierra, whereas today for the valley, we were sucked in with all that cloud cover. So our temperatures not varying too much in elevation. In fact, today's high 51 degrees in Marysville, cooler than South Lake Tahoe at 52. Sacramento 53, upper 50s for Stockton and Modesto, low mid-50s for Auburn, Placerville, and Jefferson this afternoon. Here's another look up at Donner Lake. This is from Mindy Trout Creek Trail, and yes, bluebird conditions up there. Plenty of snowpack and more on the way. Upload photos just like that on the ABC 10 app to be a part of our weather force team, which is also a great tool to have, especially as we're starting to see some of the rain and snow showers move back for our Friday forecast. We've got an underactive break around there, as well as traffic conditions, so you can really time out the best time to travel. Our Gilmore backyard right now, cloudy skies. Sacramento 51, we're at 55 for Stockton, Modesto 54, Marysville 51, and 40 right now. Still clear skies for Tahoe, but the clouds are coming and going for
He is going on to 610 I-610 north or south, I believe. Yeah. He's going on to I-610 southbound. I-610 southbound 610. There's 4 units behind that black Lexus.
It'll taper off by the time we get to 11 o'clock, and we'll right back to the dry
Again, this is a pursuit that is leading police on a high-speed chase. He's outrunning the cops on a high-speed. He is outrunning cops on a high-speed chase. This has been going on for about 15 minutes now. This pursuit has been going on for about 15 minutes now. And now he's going high-rate speeds, slowing down.
Jumps around the speed, so
and he's
just
jumping
keep
around
in
at
mind
speeds.
that, we're buffeting winds here, and we're at about 1,000 feet or so above this chase. So
Wow.
He's swerving around in the lane. He's breaking the dozens of laws.
There to give you an idea exactly close to how fast we're going.
No, we love that, man. Thanks for putting that up there. But I wonder. He's now and then he picks up some pretty good speed. I'm just wondering if there's something under that hood other than a Nissan engine.
And this chase has been going on for about
I don't know what kind of sedan
15
it
to
is,
20 minutes now.
I initially thought it was a BMW, but perhaps it's not. I might be wrong.
It's a Lexus. And import definitely.
Yeah,
an
perhaps.
import.
I'm not exactly sure. We thought at first
Other
it was
than
a
a
Lexus.
Lexus and a
It looks to
Nissan
me,
engine, I
it
believe.
could be a Lexus.
It's a Nissan.
Or
no.
Nissan,
A Lexus.
it definitely is
An import car here.
There you
It's
can see
an import.
Right now, he's
close behind.
Yeah, close behind. You see him slowing down every now and then. He'll go at the speeds of traffic, which is probably 65, right around that area. But then all of a sudden
He's
he'll
going
pick up
on to
and he'll move to 80 or 90 miles an hour.
Channel Bridge.
Real quick. Okay, we
We have
understand that.
confirmed that it is a Lexus.
Okay, terrific. All right, good to know. All right, well, with a Lexus engine, you're going to have a little more power and speed with that. They're known to be pretty sporty sedans, so. He's moving along real fast. We don't know. I don't have any idea.
Right now.
Okay, now we're going
You're
up
gonna
the-
have
the ship
power
channel
of
bridge.
speeds. He's on 610.
We are not sure as to why police were on top of this to begin with, why they tried to stop him, and why he began to run. But we're trying to vet that information at this point. All right, so he remains to go
we also
southbound
don't-
on the 610. Go ahead, Don. I'm sorry.
Southbound on the
I'm just going
610.
to say, as I mentioned
Freeway,
earlier, that we find it kind of
Feeder
unusual
Road.
that DPS is up here
610
with us
south,
as opposed
610
to
freeway,
HPD is
Feeder Road.
the ground chase units.
This is a ground chase unit,
It wouldn't
and a
surprise me
DPS
if we
helicopter
saw
is in the air.
DPS show up when this finally comes to an end. I don't know whether they were trying to put out spike strips, but we just passed three.
I don't know where they're putting out
actual
spike
police cars
strips.
that were down
Just
there
past three
off to the
actual
side.
police
So,
cars.
not exactly sure what that was about.
What that
they
was
were back
about,
there,
of
just
that
as we,
pursuit, of
exited
that
the
black
freeway.
Lexus. I don't know.
On these freeways
So
like
on
this,
these freeways,
this gives them opportunity when they
gives
know
them
exactly where he's
opportunity
headed, at
to
least
slow that
knowing
vehicle
he's going
down,
south in the
to
loop.
spike strips,
They can
to do
station
stop sticks,
out
or
those
pit
spike
that
strips,
guy and bring this to an
a couple
end.
miles in advance and move
Couple
traffic
of
to one
miles of
direction or the other
advance.
so that they can kind
Moving
of
traffic, he's
funnel
passing
that vehicle
slower
into an area
traffic
that would allow him to run over those spike
and
strips.
allow him to
But
run
it's
over
not
that spike
always
strip.
that easily done. I mean, this is especially at this speed. So here he moves along, still on the 610 East Loop. He is remaining on the freeway, on the loop. There it's down to 2 lanes, so we're right around the 225 exit. Is that
He's right around 225 exit. He's passing that Gulfgate Mall
if I'm not mistaken, that
and
is the
Gulfgate
610 South Loop now. We've just passed over
He's passing that
I-45, the
Gulfgate
Gulf
freeway, the I-45, the Gulf freeway, the Gulf freeway, Gulf freeway, Gulfgate Mall, Gulfgate freeway. Just passed. They picked up over here off of Yellowstone and 288. Picked up there of U.S. Picked up. They picked up over there at the chase in of Yellowstone and U.S. 288 and passing that Gulfgate Mall. That pursuit has been going on for about 20 minutes or so since the chase had started.
Many times when we see these, aren't we
Many
always
times
think about the fact
they
that
think they can get away
many
from
times
cops.
They tend to travel in an
They
area that they're familiar
they
with, so
travel
we'll assume
with
at
a
this point
high-speed
anyway,
chase
that this person
and
is, if they
high
don't
rates of
live
speeds
in this
of that
part
pursuit.
town, at least they're familiar with this part of town, the freeway system and the side streets.
Yeah.
You know,
usually they will exit the freeway into a neighborhood that they're more
They will
familiar
have
with.
to exit
and
in the
that's
freeway,
generally
off the
speaking when
freeway.
these chases come to an
They will
end.
have to
Right.
exit
Now,
off
we
the
could be
freeway
doing
into a
laps like the
neighborhood.
Indy 500 here for
They
the rest
could
of
be
the
doing
afternoon, the
Indy
way this is
500 for
going.
the rest of
right,
the
and
afternoon. This is the way this is
generally pretty
going.
easy for HPD to stay right on top of someone who's on the freeway like this, no matter
This
how
chase
fast
has
they're
been
going,
going
because
on
these
for
police
the last
vehicles,
10
they
to
can
15
travel
minutes or
at
so,
practically any
and it's
speed
been
that
going
some
on
of
for
these
about
other
25
vehicles can
minutes.
travel at. And you have behind him at least 4 or 5 HPD.
At least 4 or 5
HPD, by the way, is not in the air.
HPD
We know
officers,
that DPS is in the air, but you're still on the
officers,
ground. You have
and the
HPD, those are
DPS
HPD
helicopter
there,
is in the air.
vehicles. But he just seems to be moving along, and
It
not
just
all
seems
that
to be
fast right now.
moving
Maybe
along,
at,
not all
80
that
miles
fast
an hour
right
or
now.
so.
Maybe
I
at
don't
80
know,
miles an hour.
You wonder what he's going to do here if he's really trying to get away, and we certainly don't want him to try and do that because they really start doing some stupid things.
They start doing,
Although this is on the level of,
and
some pretty crazy stuff
they
anyway,
always have
just even
to
trying to run from police.
commit a crime.
But we've seen
And
this all the time.
do driving recklessly. If you're driving recklessly, please don't do this in real life.
288 and see what's going on over here.
And there's a
Seems to be another
helicopter right
accident
there.
going the opposite
There
direction
was an
down here on the
accident.
South Loop.
Maybe
We'll
it
be
was a
coming up
traffic
on
jam.
288 here, and if you're familiar with it, they've got a lot of construction going on in that area. And
Right.
these lanes that he is traveling on, going westbound here on the South Loop, will pinch down to a couple of lanes once you get down to 288. There you just pass the sign
Right.
that gives the drivers heads up as to 288 is just ahead. So now he's signaling to change lanes.
He's signaling to change
That's
lanes.
odd.
That is odd. I just have this frame of mind where
Oh my
he's
God.
trying to get away from police. He's
Trying to
speeding.
get
He's already
away from
broken dozens
police.
of laws.
He
and
is
yet he
speeding.
signals
He's
to go.
he's
You can
already
see his
broken
signal there,
those
Don. He's,
dozens of
you know,
laws.
trying to
And
move
you know,
over
He's
to the
signaling
right
in
side.
I have to say this, and that is the
to
fact
change
that
lanes.
this
He's
may or may not
he
be
is
a
signaling
him.
to change
It could be a
lanes.
her.
Oh, you're absolutely
I know
right.
Again, he is
we went on
signaling to
a
change
chase
lanes.
not that long ago. Ended
that
up
long ago.
on the 610 West
Ended up
Loop
in the
in a
610
Jeep, and as
in
it
a
turned
Jeep.
out, it was a
As
female
it turned out,
that
it
was
was
leading the
a
chase.
male
Well, and we
leading
have
the
learned
chase.
that is happening more and more often. I mean, we've seen it again and again. Oh, there he goes, trying to sneak off the freeway.
Trying to get
and he
off the
did it.
freeway and sneak
And
it
the
off.
police are
This
right
chase
behind
had
him still.
gone under.
Now let's see what happens.
This chase
Scott
gone
Street.
underway
Okay,
for
this
about
is
30
Scott
minutes
Street.
ago.
Traffic. Let's
Yeah.
see. Yep.
This is where
This
it
is
gets
Scott.
always interesting here. You know, when
Yeah.
you start getting
And
off into the...
This is where accidents happen.
Yeah, exactly
This is
right.
where
This is
accidents happen.
Where accidents happen, where people begin... Let's see, is he going to go back on the loop? If he gets back on the South Loop
Gonna go.
to go eastbound,
Yeah, I'm gonna go eastbound now. Yep.
Gonna go
Okay.
eastbound now.
this may be the only part of town that this guy
Maybe
is used
the
to.
only a part of
So,
town.
or he's familiar
Like
with,
that.
because now we're
Like
going
that
back in the
police chase.
same direction that he originally started with long ago. You know
Yes,
what?
As a matter of
When
fact,
it started
I was just reminded, Art,
long
that
ago.
there is
For
an
about 5 to
accident up
15
ahead. If you
to 20
remember
minutes
correctly,
ago.
we pointed that out as we
For about
passed it.
5 to 20 minutes
So
ago.
he's gonna
that's
run
for
into
sure.
On
that.
the freeway, they're going to come to a dead stop up ahead.
Well, that wasn't a very smart move then. Not very strategic on his point to be getting back on the South Loop and now headed westbound, going very fast. You can see him picking up speed, but you're
Going
right,
fast.
Don. We saw that accident not too much further ahead of him, and they have that accident was bringing traffic to a crawl. And you can bet that now HPD is on the radio with those other folks over there at that accident, probably telling them to shut that thing down entirely, all lanes, to see what happens. It will be interesting once they approach that.
Well, there they go.
Oh,
off
there
the
he
freeway.
goes. Okay.
Off
Well,
the
that
freeway,
was his
off the
strategy.
freeway.
onto the
He's going
feeder.
off the
Yeah.
freeway
He just got off the
onto
freeway.
a feeder road.
Yep, right onto the feeder. Well, you know those wheels are going to be
Turning left
pretty damaged as a result of
onto
that. You can
Martin
just climb on
Luther
and off
King
the freeway
Jr.
without
Boulevard.
up and down on those
Martin
curves.
Luther
But
King
here we
Jr.
are off the
Boulevard.
freeway. Wait, is this back to Scott? No, this is Martin Luther King, isn't it?
Yes. This is Martin Luther King, and we're headed northbound now.
Okay.
They're headed northbound.
Going
Northbound.
through these
Ooh,
intersections.
yeah, that's where it's so dangerous. You go racing through those intersections, and when you're traveling at that speed,
And when you're
it's
traveling
just too
at that
difficult
speed,
to
like
see
in
anyone else
GTA
and anyone else to see
in the
that vehicle
game,
before someone
when you
just pulls out
know,
in front.
he's turning right onto
Okay,
Perry
there's
Street.
Perry
Hey,
Street.
this is a street called Perry.
Called Perry.
This
And
is
this is the street
called Perry
This is
over
the street
here.
called Perry.
Oh, in
And
the residential
please
area,
don't
going
drive
that fast.
recklessly
That's
in
not
in a
real
good.
life.
residential
Don't drive
area,
recklessly in
and
real life.
they've sped
Don't
up
run over red lights.
considerably.
they sped up
So
considerably.
you might, and what usually
You can
happens,
see
And they would
the
usually
you can see the
have
street names on our sky map technology
the
there.
street names on the sky map
love those street
technology
names just popping up
there.
right there.
They're
He
popping
was
up
on
right
Perry
there.
Street, now he's on, boy, those things are pepping.
He's on Big Man
Beachman
Road.
Street. You know, this is what usually
Beachman
happens in these
Road.
neighborhoods sometimes as well. They just find some place to bail and run. But he's
on Mary.
He
He's
wouldn't go
on
into a neighborhood
Keystone
like this
Street.
unless he was absolutely familiar with it. He's on Keystone Street now. He's kind of circled around.
Let's listen now.
Fast.
Let's listen now.
They're
Let's
back to
listen
Martin
now.
Luther now. Let's see if he goes left or right. There he is, now going southbound. He's back headed south, right, on Martin Luther?
To be honest with you, Art, I've lost direction. I know that we're having a hard time maneuvering up here. We've got other helicopters up here with us, and so we've got to pay attention to that. And,
Sure.
to be honest with you, I don't know.
You know what? Wouldn't go into a neighborhood like this unless he was absolutely familiar
Again,
with it.
he's passing
He's on
Kavanaugh
Keystone
Street.
Street now. He's kind of circled around, really moving fast. They're back to Martin Luther now. Let's see if he goes left or right. There he is, now going southbound. He's back headed south, right, on Martin Luther?
To be honest with you, Art, I've lost direction. I know that we're having a hard time maneuvering up here. We've got other helicopters up here with us, and so we've got to pay attention to that. And,
Sure.
To be honest with you, I don't know.
You know what?
Looks as though we're heading.
Yeah.
We're heading south. We're heading toward the south
That's
loop
what I
again.
thought. Yeah, toward the south loop
I
again.
have to glance over to my compass over here to look myself.
You know, Don just does just a Herculean job to the audience out there. Think of guiding this camera, which is on that helicopter, as well as maneuvering the helicopter. I know, you know, there's a pilot there that does that, but still, it's this awesome job you're taking care of here, Don, and bringing us some extraordinary
Kevin Yip is
pictures.
our pilot this afternoon, and he's doing a bang-up job. I'll tell you, it's because we're also in restricted airspace. This is over here in Hobby Airport space, so he's having to deal with them and the other
They're having
helicopter
to deal
traffic.
with them and
I'm
the
talking
other
to you and trying
helicopter
to keep up
traffic.
with the chase with the camera.
They're trying to keep up with the
So
chase
other helicopter
with the camera.
traffic and everything else that goes on, along with restricted airspace because of Hobby. But yet we get it to you first. We get it on the air, and well, he at least stopped there.
He
But
at
let's see what
least
happens
stopped
now.
there.
Okay, Cullen Boulevard.
He's going on Color Boulevard.
Oh, they've already.
And
they
they had
guessed where
the
he was going to go.
DPS
Now they
trooper
trying to block
and
him
trying
in,
to
but he's
block
going over
him
the median.
in,
Right around the
going
police
over the
officer.
median. He just passed Kavanaugh Street.
Sure need to set him up for a pit maneuver here, Art. There's no doubt about it, because somebody's going to get really seriously injured if they don't just stick the neck out and do that here quickly.
You're right. You're right. And that's when they know it's getting really, really dangerous, and he's in a populated area, and if they have some clarity and some space to be able to do it, you look how he's pulling up to the side, Don. He's getting up, perhaps trying to get over to the side to possibly work on doing a pit maneuver.
Yeah, there's just a little bit too much traffic on this main boulevard here.
Right.
Okay, we're just crossed over Holmes Road.
Oh, a lot of traffic. Let's see what he does here. Well, he's
We're going to go
for the field.
off-roading here. This is
He's
over at the
off-roading.
610 loop.
Over at 610 loop.
Yeah, he's not afraid to go off-roading. He's done that, I think, at least 3 or 4 times now.
He's done that at least 3
So
or
we're
4 times.
back on the loop.
Okay.
To say.
We're back on the South Loop, but is he before or after the accident? He might run into the same accident, right?
Well, I think that he's headed over toward, let me see, it looks like he's headed over toward Reliance Stadium, Astrodome area.
Okay, so he's
Back
headed
over to 288.
Yeah, back over to 288. He's headed eastbound now on the South Loop.
He's heading eastbound now.
He's been doing
on
this
the
for
south
a good
loop.
45 minutes now.
This pursuit has been going on for about 35 minutes or so.
There's the
down,
construction
stopping.
area. Yeah, we're coming up on 288 here
And
shortly.
they're coming up onto 288
Okay, so he's
shortly.
gone left.
Here shortly, 288 onto 288. He's coming up onto 288 here shortly.
Yeah, that's a mess to
here
get through there. A
shortly.
lot of construction. Well, police right behind him. Look
Police
at him.
are right behind him.
You see how police are trying to get to one side of him. Sometimes they will attempt to do that, and then that's when they work the pit maneuver. But at this point, if there's too much traffic and they're going way too fast, they're going to probably have to wait until they get off into a residential area.
Okay, that's 288, so we're now
That's
approaching the
288.
Astrodome Reliance Center area.
Okay.
Approaching residential
This is all the
area.
construction that I was telling you.
Reliance
Lanes narrowed down to a couple lanes there.
Right.
And there's a
for
couple
the,
of
through
traffic.
traffic headed over
through
toward the
traffic.
West Loop and Astrodome area.
Well, because of this pandemic, I think that clearly the freeways are just not as congested as they used to be. We still have a lot of people staying home, and no doubt a lot are watching this high-speed chase, waiting for it to come to an end and wondering how it's going to end. And that's always the frightening thing about it, is that we always wonder, and you always have some degree of trepidation that this thing's going to end with some major accident. That's what we do not want it
He's
to end.
passing all over the
We do not want it to end that way.
Oh!
We hit one of those cones, and so did the officer.
Let me rewind it.
Yep.
Oh,
Now
he's
I'm going to
good.
go back up.
Yeah.
They're doing it. Person's doing everything they can to lose police, but that's not going to happen.
No, you know what? Because if he loses even that guy right behind him, there are a dozen others, still behind that officer. So,
And not to mention that, but we're also up here.
Right.
Let's see if something.
what we do not want it to end.
Rewind it again.
We do not want it to end that
He
way.
hit that
hit one of
mirror.
those cones, and so did the officer.
So did the officer. He hit the cone.
Oh,
Now I'm
he's
going to
good.
go back up.
Yeah.
They're doing it. Person's doing everything they can to lose police, but
They could
that's not
they
going to
tried.
happen.
No,
He
you know what?
tried
Because
everything he
if
can
he
to
loses even that
lose
guy right
police,
behind him,
and
there
he's
are a
right
dozen
behind that
others,
vehicle.
still behind that officer. So,
And not to mention that, but we're also up here.
Right.
Let's see if something happens
let's see.
here.
Yeah,
what
you see how he gets on the side of him like that?
Yep. Yeah, the chase car actually clipped one of those construction barrels and took the right side mirror off of it. We saw it go flying along with the barrel.
Okay. Yeah, I saw that barrel. The one who's running from police, he clipped it as well, and then you're right, the officer just slammed into the rest of it.
Now they're going at such a high rate of speed. I don't know
And
as
he's
if
going
a
on
pit
to a
maneuver
high
would be
rate
the
of speed.
best thing
They
to
would
do
do
here.
a
Yeah,
pit maneuver.
there's
The best
so
thing
many
they
people on
can.
the freeway as
they
well.
could
I mean,
do.
not super congested, but when you try a pit maneuver at that speed, and you might be crashing into other vehicles.
You might
So we'll see what happens here as he continues to
other vehicles. Into
race
other
through the
vehicles.
south part of town, 610 South Loop. He is headed
He's racing the
eastbound
part
still,
of racing.
and at some
Yeah,
point
this is
we're
westbound,
coming.
Art. They're
part of
coming
town
over here on the
southbound
Fireland area.
loop.
Yeah, and this is the Braeswood
South Loop.
exit.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, this is
Hoping that they'll
westbound.
take off and get on a surface street over here where they can get this guy stopped.
Yeah, I think that they're probably receiving some direction to, you know what, let's try and end this thing as quickly as possible because he's really causing some danger here on the road. All right, so if they're headed westbound, then they're going to be headed north now on...
Yeah, let me give you a wider view. There's Braes Bayou coming up on Meyerland. We're headed northbound back up toward Bel Air, which is, I think, where all of this started in the Bel Air area in southwest Houston.
Yeah, it all started sort of the southwest part of town, Bel Air area, over there on the West Loop.
Chase has been going on for about 40
Went
minutes.
southbound, then South Loop for a time, all the way over to the Ship Channel Bridge. And now he's already swung all the way back around, traversed his way through some residential streets,
now.
then on the South Loop again, headed westbound, and now he's headed northbound on the 610.
I have to rewind
He's
it
going to be
again
headed,
to you.
right, getting up to
he
the
hit
Bel
the
Air
mirror.
area.
I have to rewind this to you again
You
one
can
more
see the cross
time.
streets there
He hit the
as we
mirror
approach them with
that
this
was
awesome
earlier.
technology,
He hit
making
the,
a quick exit
yeah,
there.
He hit the
Trying to
cone.
get
He
away
hit
from
one
police.
of the
This is
cones.
Bel Air
and
exit.
He hit that mirror.
Okay, this is only blocks from the station here, just down the
He
street, a
hit one
couple
of the
miles.
construction
So
cones.
let's see what happens here
And the
because
mirror
he's going to turn around.
flew
Let's see if
off.
he heads back south. He's
He
making the
heads
U-turn
he
there.
heads
Now he's
at-
going to head
He heads back
really
south and
southbound
he's
on
going
the West Loop.
really southbound west on the West Loop.
Yeah, that was the Bel Air intersection there.
That
So
was
now
a
we're
very
heading
Geller
Getting back on the freeway.
intersection.
I think this is the only area he
Getting
knows.
back on the
I
freeway.
think we know which area he hangs out.
In which area he hangs
You
out
know,
in a
sort of
freeway,
southwest,
southbound,
south part of town.
south part of town, 610
Now he
freeway.
has to be thinking. You would think. You know, the naturally, you know, level-headed person would be thinking, okay, I'm not able to lose these officers, you know, clearly, because nothing he has done has been able to create that. At this point, he's got to be thinking, all right, maybe I just pull over. But sometimes when the adrenaline is there and it just keeps you moving, you move off that instead of reason-mindedness, you know?
And you know, Art, the other thing, and I'm sure that you've thought of this, and I know that our viewers have too, is that imagine you're minding your own business, you're coming back from the grocery store, out for an errand at lunchtime, whatever the case may be, and you run across a chase, and
Remember,
it's hopefully
when you're
not
minding
you
your business,
that's
when you're
involved
coming
in
back
the
from the
accident that
grocery
this person
store, this is
creates. I mean,
I'm just kidding.
it's
I'm just
frightening if you
kidding.
stop to think about it.
Yeah, it really is. Okay, so here we are. This is the 4th time we have been on the South Loop.
This is the
Isn't that
4th
right?
time they have
Because
been
now
on the
he
South
was
Loop.
headed south on
He
the
is
West
headed
Loop. Now he's
south
headed
on the
east
West
on the
Loop.
South Loop. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Yeah.
Yep. Headed back toward the Astrodome.
Headed
And
back
I use
towards
the
the
Astrodome
Astrodome.
as a marker because all of us long-timers here in Houston use
a
the
marker.
Astrodome as a marker. And, of course, we're talking about Reliance Stadium, Reliance Center. But I think everybody gets the picture.
Everyone does, yeah. Because that's been such an iconic, you know, building over the past many, many decades. Some call it the 8th wonder. But here we go again. We're going to drive by, you know, I don't know. This guy enjoys doing some sightseeing on the south side because he's done plenty of it. This is at least our 4th or 5th time that we've
At
driven
least 4th or
this
5th
road.
time
Or at least the
that
South Loop.
they've
in some
driven this
fashion,
road.
east or westbound.
That police car gets so close to the back
does.
bumper. And if
It
it were
gets
me,
so
I
close
would
to
just
the back
want it
bumper.
to ease into the gas.
Ease
and,
into the
do
gas.
that Dale Earnhardt pit maneuver on him.
Right. Let's see if it works. And they're awfully, you know, you have to have some degree of fear in doing it on this freeway because you know what's going to happen. It's going to be spinning out of control, slamming into the median, perhaps hitting other vehicles along the way. That's the DPS. That's not HPD now.
That's a DPS.
Right.
That's a DPS cop car.
He's taking the
Trying
lead
to
on
take
this,
a
and that's
he's
interesting.
taking the lead on that pit maneuver, trying to pit that black Lexus. He is picking up speed.
What they've done here is to set this up. So as soon as that officer sees an opportunity, he'll pull the pit maneuver on him. I think that it's different for Houston. I may be mistaken.
Let's listen now.
That's what it kind of leads me to believe.
Yeah, I think you're right there, Don, because, you know, once you pulled up closer, I thought, wait a minute, that is no longer HPD. HPD was taking the lead on this. DPS is now taking the lead, and I suppose they're not going to mess around, and so they're going to likely see what they can do here. But DPS is not in the air. No, DPS is in the air, and DPS now is taking the lead on the ground as well.
That's correct, because it was HPD for the longest time. I don't know where the swap happened, but it's clear that this is definitely DPS. That's why I zoomed in on that, because I thought, is that DPS? Yes, I confirmed that it was.
Yeah. Yeah, you can tell by the emblem
Approaching
on the
288 again there,
side of the vehicle. Okay, here we go, approaching that again. You're going to be approaching some construction here as well, right? At some point. Let's see what he does here. This 288, he's going to get off on the 288 again. Okay, he's exited on 288, it looks like. Let's see if he goes north or south on 288. Looks like he's going to...
288 south.
He's headed south on 288. All right, so once he passes the construction in this area, he could be fairly open, but 288 is only a couple of lanes. You don't have 4 and 5 lanes like you do the loop.
Yeah, this is a huge construction zone all
this-
the way
all
down
this
to
area.
Pearland.
It is. You know,
Traffic continues to slow here.
I noticed on the, you look at the officers following him, the first and the second
Approaching
officer,
Reed Road.
yeah, the first and the second are DPS. The third now, the HPD was taking the lead. Now they've dropped into the third, I believe, spot there behind the DPS. So let's
Yes,
see
you're
what happens.
correct, Art.
Yeah. Okay.
And you notice the HPD officer has given the DPS officer plenty of room
Right.
between them,
You're right.
where DPS is right on the chase suspect's tail. Now they're exiting. This is Reed Road.
Okay, right here at
Is this
Reed
where it's
Road.
going to
Let's see
happen?
what-
Are they going to?
Yeah, he's right there on his side. He's ready to do something.
Oh my God.
There he gets.
Accident there.
Okay.
There's an accident
There,
here.
he's going to try it now. You
This is
see
an
how?
opportunity right here. This is an opportunity right here. Let's see what happens.
See,
And he's coming
I
to
think
an end.
Morris's hands
Let's
are out of the
listen up.
car.
They are.
There they are. We've come to a conclusion here on Reed Road at the Exxon station at 288. We're trying to move her around here so we can get away from that telephone pole. I
Yeah.
don't want to get in too close. All the
Sure.
officers have their guns drawn. They have no clue what to expect here.
Right. and you
Typically
have
what
to
will
be
happen is
careful.
they'll order that driver out of the car, and the driver will face away from them and back up toward them and then lay down on the ground. That's the typical way to arrest somebody like this. But you can see officers are all lined up here. Let's just hope that they don't put it in drive and take off.
Let's see what
because there's
happens and
nothing
who we
ahead of
have. Whether there is a male behind that wheel, or possibly even a passenger or a female. We've seen it all in all of these chases we've covered, but there are a line of DPS right there with her guns drawn, giving and shouting orders at this point. He did, once he hit that car, he put his hands up in the air and said, well, you know what, maybe I ought to give this up. Let's see what happens, because we've seen them stop and then go.
And you know, the officers don't have any clue whether or not this person has a gun or there's other people in the car with them.
Right.
This is all a big unknown at this point. There is a person that, as you can see at the top of your screen, that's being escorted toward the police car. I did not see anybody get out of it. They're on the sidewalk up there. I don't want to get in too close, Art, because we just don't know what's going to happen here.
Sure. I mean, that's we have to be careful here, and at least a word to the audience. And sometimes we've been in close, and then there are shots fired. The door is open now. He does appear as though he is getting out. Again, we're looking at the vehicle on the left-hand side in the front. It appears that he might be getting out. You see at least a dozen officers all around, and others running toward that vehicle as well. In position with guns drawn. The DPS taking the lead on this, at least with their vehicle, and in the air. Don't know, Don, whether they are taking the lead in the air with the DPS chopper. We just saw it fly by, because the HPD might be grounded because the helicopter crashed recently. We don't know if that's the case, but certainly something to consider.
Yeah, I have not heard that, Art. Usually if DPS wants help, that they certainly have no problem calling HPD helicopter in on this. And I don't see any as I glance around it right now. That doesn't mean that they're not here or nearby, but it's right now it's DPS and us.
Okay, so somebody is out of the vehicle. Fortunately, this thing has come to an end, hopefully. We just hope he doesn't get back in the vehicle and start going. And the reason I say that is because we've seen that happen before, but there must be several orders being given back and forth. Let's see what happens as we continue to watch this play out.
I do see movement outside of the driver's door. There they are. They're standing up.
Yeah. Standing up at this point. His legs are spread, and he appears to be leaning up against his vehicle. And he's walking, or he's possibly walking backward at this point.
Well, we're hoping that he's taking direction and doing exactly what the officers are telling him to do.
For the audience, we just have to be very careful. That was DPS that flew by, right? Yeah, that looked like DPS.
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. We're here at Reed Road, just to the west of 288, not even a block away from 288. And the situation, to say the least, is tense.
Yeah, because he's not laying down yet. I mean, I don't know whether they're giving him orders to lay down, but generally they will lay down pretty quickly. It appears as though he's maybe taking just a couple of steps backwards, but I've only seen one person so far. I have not seen another, and he's slowly walking back.
Right.
It appears as though there is only one person in that vehicle. Is that correct?
Video. Pop.
Don't know. There
Yeah.
could be other people that they just ordered him to step out of the vehicle. That's typically the case.
Good night.
They try to only deal with one at a time in these instances. Now he's
Bye-bye.
walking backwards toward them.
Definitely walking
Now they're going to
back.
command him to get on his knees and then on his stomach, face down. There they go. They're moving in now.
On the knees.
Video. Yeah.
Okay, the guns are continued to be pointed at the vehicle, seeing if there is perhaps another one in there. But
Yes,
this
they don't
man
know.
is
So
under
they're gonna
arrest.
put the dog over there and make sure that there's not somebody else in the vehicle.
Okay, there's the man under arrest. You can see him up against the DPS vehicle. And the dog went inside the suspect's vehicle, and it appears as though it
So we
might
would
be
assume
empty.
that the vehicle is cleared, that there's no one else in the vehicle. If there were, the dog would still be in there, and officers would be all over it. But it doesn't appear to be anyone else in the vehicle, just him. There's the arrest being made by state troopers, and it looks like undercover police officers.
Yeah, those are
Notice that
definitely
they're in
undercover.
chains, so we don't
You're
want
right.
to get in too close because we don't want to reveal their identity. There's the trooper.
Yeah, he's going back, and the DPS taking the full lead on this because DPS has taken him into custody. He's going to go into the back of that DPS unit, perhaps.
I
But
noticed that the DPS officers stepped back and letting the undercover officers take the arrest.
you know that, and generally when that happens, when undercover is involved, that means they've been following this man. Perhaps they had surveillance on this man. We're not sure of the situation, but we're only going off a history of experience here. But you can clearly see DPS undercover as they continue to pat this man down. All right, quite a chase this has been. As you have watched at home, no doubt, we have traversed the city, mostly the south side, gone back and forth on the south loop at least 5 times. He's very familiar with that area. Gone up to the north as well, over to the southeast and the eastbound loop as well, making his way around the city, but now it is brought to a close. It appears as though there is one suspect. The chase is now over. We're going to have, of course, much more coverage if you continue to watch here on abc13.com. As well, we will have full coverage of the chase and all the events surrounding it, and as to why this man was running on abc13.com and at 3 o'clock and 4 o'clock on Eyewitness News. We will see you then. Have a good day, everyone. Now back to regular program.
America's most reliable network is going ultra, with Verizon 5G Ultra Wideband now in many more cities.
Mark, thank you. A jackpot Powerball ticket was sold in South Sacramento. We still don't know who just got so lucky, but that's not stopping people from talking. We'll have reaction to this big win.
And universal health care for all Californians. Tonight, 10/11, the bill introduced by state lawmakers, what it could cost and who is going to pay for it. Mark Twain and Sacramento's most trusted weather team, only on KCRA3. We know Northern California. So no matter what you have planned for the day ahead, KCRA3 has you covered.
Breaking things down for you hour by hour.